So the AI working group was set up a few years ago, and it was led from a community perspective that people wanted to know more about AI and how it's going to affect mining. However, I think over the years, one of the things that kind of becomes a bit more obvious to people is like, we never really set out to do an AI project. You know, we've got data and we're doing a project that's using data. And, you know, it might be a machine learning project, it might not be. So I think this concept of just focusing on AI was something that we thought, well, we're kind of limiting what we're doing here, because really what we're doing is we're using the data in a form. And so the idea is that we basically expand from just focusing on AI to focusing on applications of data, of which AI is one of them, but there are many. So Heather, if you could just move to the next slide, please. So this was essentially what the statement was of the scope of what we were doing. I'm not going to read it, but basically it was focusing on AI and how mining can use AI solutions safely and effectively. And if you move on to the next slide, please. Basically, we're just going to do the same thing, but we're just going to expand it to more applications of data. And on the next slide, I believe. So what does this look like? We've already got a data and interoperability working group. So one thing we need to do is be very clear about what the scope's going to be, and we don't kind of go into that kind of area. But there's a few things that the data and interoperability working group are looking at the moment, and they tend to be more low level, more standards based, you know, common language and ontologies. So it tends to be that type of thing that they're doing. For this group, I think obviously AI is going to still play a huge part, but there's been a lot of interest recently over things like digital twins, data visualizations, and so just more of the use of data. And then there's this grey zone, which it could either be in one or the other. It's not really, you know, it doesn't matter if something comes up like ethics or data governance. Doesn't really matter which working group it goes into, as long as, you know, we can put it into one and we can get the we can get the work done. So just in essence, that's I think what we're. So I think moving on. So just to give some progress on the current activities. So the areas of focus over the last 6 months to a year of a lot of the GMG forums that have happened have basically come up with like these 3 pillars which are deemed important to the community, and you know, the first one, obviously industry education, that has come up so many times about people just wanting to know what's happening out there in the industry, what are the other people doing, what are the kind of things that maybe we should be looking at in mining. And then there's leading on from there, and quite closely related, is the readiness, you know, the strategy and building business cases, and it's just giving a leverage into helping you like moving forward by getting some common materials, and then some more technical knowledge around AI. But I think we'll be expanding that. So some of these areas of focus, I think, given some of the discussions we might have later, might morph a little bit. But that's really the 3 general areas that the community is looking for. So if you can go to the next slide, Heather, please. And you know, what we've done is there's a couple of things in here that that we thought, well, we need to kick something off. So the first one is the industry education, and so webinars like the one coming up, a great way to share knowledge, see what great things people are doing. So we've got a chat with Doug later on, but there's another couple that we're planning to put into the schedule. So looking at the legal aspects of data, and then we have a talk from Rasmus on swiping through data, disaster and AI heartbreak, which is a great title, and I'm really looking forward to what on earth that is. And then we had the data sets project, which we've done some work on already. Alison's going to go through that and basically throw out some ideas and look for some direction on that as well. So that's the current topics that we've got on the go. I think later on we'll kind of look for some other ideas, open to some great ideas from the group. And so I think if we go to the next slide, please. I think it's just to remind people, and maybe for those that are new on the call, there are some publications that we've put out already. So we looked at the open data sets for AI mining, and Foundations of AI is just a white paper. The Foundations of AI, it's quite a few years ago now, so if that may need to be refreshed, but I know a lot of people, I recognize faces, you've seen these things before, but if anyone hasn't, please feel free to go to the website and download your copy. And next, Heather, please.